You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 21st meeting of the Michigan City Port Authority Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening. Welcome to the Michigan City Port Authority Board of Directors meeting, October 21st. I call the meeting to order. I'm looking for approval or correction of the October 7th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, we have nobody from the public today. It's unusual. All right, we'll move right on to Mr. Frame, Port Harbor Master.
Well, we continue to haul boats out for the winter. Our schedule is booked up for a little more than the next 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks and 2 days. And we also continue prepping the marina for winter. So we've been taking off ladders and extensions and things as people move out. We latch the dock boxes so the lids don't, pop loose during the wind or whatever. And we're continuing to repair and set up Christmas lights. So that's just standard for this time of year. So unless anybody has any questions, that's all I have for now.
Oh, the trick.
I think they're just passing through. They did the same thing last year. I think it's King and Company.
Looked like it, yeah.
They do a lot of work over at Port of Indiana.
Water shut off, not as much problem as there is turning it on as it turning it off.
It's over.
Not as much problem turning it off as there is turning it on.
No, correct.
It's always a guess next year, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Reports from the Assistant Harbor Master Administration. Let's see, Mary Ann from the East.
Our first billing has been completed and is all sent out. I also got a notification from who we do our CDs with, and we have another one due for $200,000. They could not give me set rates for tomorrow. He did give me what he felt the ranges would run between. For a year, he said he felt it would be between 3.85 and 405.
When do they give you a set rate? They
He'll
just
be able
don't?
tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's so fluid right now.
Yeah. He said change.
Before it was, before it was.
Yeah, he says just change it from day to day.
We've been trying to keep up with it more real time the last couple of years because there was a lag for a while. It seemed we'd get a list and we'd get an approval of a list, and then Marianne would try to get that next day and they'd say, well, the list has changed. So what she's trying to do is get that lag together real close so that we don't lose a couple of days of interest either way. So this is a good way to do this.
Did we get the rate we expected the last time we?
We got 3.9 by the
okay.
time.
Okay.
He said it just goes so fast in the mornings that there's only so many shares of each ones that people are getting.
Wow. She and I talked about that when it came in that next day also.
Yeah.
We just took what we could get.
Sure.
Is that the way all organizations work? I'm talking about those organizations, not us.
Yeah, though, I believe it is when you do it with.
Fluid market.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like permission tomorrow to reinvest this $200,000 between these. Hopefully I can get these rates.
I'll make a motion to allow Mrs. Pelletri to take whatever rate it is effective tomorrow. Is that for 1 year?
Yeah,
That's for 1 year?
1 year.
I'll make a motion. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That's all you have? Everything in the water, huh? All right. Mr. Ferguson, Budget and Financial Oversight, review and approval of the bills to be paid.
We have two things to talk about tonight, briefly the bills, and then we got a handout plan for next year for us to look at, maybe answer quick questions tonight if you see them, and or for approval at our next meeting. We'll bring it up for approval, give you guys a couple weeks to look at it, but we'll talk about that in just a second. We've all got the 2 sheets of paper, got the summaries I'll touch base on. The summaries include almost $50,000 of the almost 54,000. So the other smaller bills obviously are on this other detailed sheet of paper that I'm not going to spend any time on. Let's talk about this. Going down the summary sheet. A1 striping, that's Washington Park lot. It's striping there. Same thing with Trail Creek lot. And the beecher printing envelopes, pretty straightforward. It's that time of year where we send out a lot of bills, do a lot of stuff like that. Fuel resale, 17.3. Water department supplies. Elon Financial for supplies, the credit card. Mainly that is for Christmas lights in that general area. We don't do that to that much every year, I don't believe, but it is what it is. Got Flanagan tires, oil changes stuff. Lowe's for a grill, that's for next year. It's a replacement to keep it, we keep a certain amount of grills that are ours, not just slip holders have their own, but we also provide quite a few. So it was time to get either 1 or 2.
That's 13. There's 13 of them in that.
13 for 3,600. Wow. But I thought you had mentioned that it was just the one that I obviously was wrong. Thank you, Tim. So anyway, those are for grills for next year, part of what we do. Security. And then a maintenance contract for Securitas. That's people that take care of our gate systems, the key, what we call the key system for our gates, making sure that they're available to come out when we have trouble. I'd asked Marianne that they done a pretty good job of responding when we needed them this year, and she said yes, they had, to her knowledge. So that's just a contract. Okay, those total, as I say, about a little under 49,000. With all the others, we have a total of $53,733.79. With that, I'll make a motion to pay these as stated.
And I will second his motion.
Any questions, any comments?
Yeah, I'm just curious about the oil change. I thought we changed our own oil.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
And the set of tires.
Right. Yeah, that's tires on the truck out there.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of paying the bills?
One, two, three.
Okay.
Second item, this is the proposal for the plan next year. All right, this first page is the revenue end. And the only changes on here represent a 3% increase in the slip rentals. Plus probably some rounding of some things there. But all that you can see it, the columns, we have a few more columns this year to give everyone an idea of some history. So you've got obviously this year's budget and at the actual expenditures or the actual amount, in this case revenue coming in, and then what our proposed is for next year. So the difference there is about 3%. Coming on the next page, which starts our expenses. We have an extra column there. We've got last year's budget, what we spent this year so far. This year's budget, and then our proposal in the last column, as stated. And the main or only difference here is a 3% across the board raise and pay for everybody. Coming on the next page, I there's very little changes here, if anything. Just a couple things, might be some minor adjustments as well. On page 3, tell by bottom right, it shows what page we're on. That's the page that starts with repair and maintenance building. Okay. Major change there is we decreased what we call maintenance repair other. It's kind of a catch-all for Jim and taking care of what he needs, what his people need. We've been slowly building that up over time, and I hate to take too much away from this because it's a good place to take care of emergency repairs. But we see that we really haven't spent a whole bunch of that yet this year, although I'm sure he could if he wanted to. So that's the only major change, if anything, on that page. Coming back, the final page, small page, was the change in there is from capital improvement, or what I just call a line item, capital build-up account, and we're increasing from this year's budget of 280 to the next year proposal for 325. Trying to gear it back up to the 400,000 we've had for the last couple of years. And if this year pans out the way it looks like, I think we'll be able to add, I don't want to think, but we'll be able to add quite a bit of money to our capital just for this year, at the end of the year, which would be good. And then with a plan of 325, we'll be able to further increase. So, I think you can take a look at that last page. You can see that the budget for this year versus next year is, I believe it should be about $60,000 difference, which represents the slip rate increase. And that also is the approximate amount of the capital improvement upgrade for this year and last year. All right. Let's take a look at these. You got 2 weeks to look at it. Got any questions, particularly any big questions, I would appreciate if you could either give me a call, email, or possibly Mary Ann, just so we're prepared to answer them at the next meeting. Okay? Because I really want to get this a budget approved at our next meeting, which is our first meeting in November. So that's all I have. If somebody sees a question that they have right now, I'll begin to work on it, but other than that, that's all I have. Danny?
Yeah, is this budget based on 100% occupancy?
I did not base that on that. I based it, I guess I based it based on the fact that at the start of the year, we have a waiting list, and at the start of next year, I presume we'll have some sort of waiting list, but it usually turns out to be about 95%. So, but did I specifically do that? This is not my budget. This is in conjunction with Mary Ann.
It's close, depending on from what we had this year.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a staff function of which I get to have a pretty good say on it as a treasurer. And so I'm more of an overseer of what Mary Ann has put together after she and I and Tim have kind of given our thoughts in there, so.
Good. Yeah, after a quick review of it, it looks fine, and I think Mrs. Pelkey does a nice job putting it together.
Thank you.
I was just curious about the watercraft user fee between the budget of 2,700 and the actual 27,000.
The 27,000 was a mistake,
Oh,
2,700. That's what we take in from the boats
Great.
at B&E and that for the watercraft user fee, and then we turn that over to the city.
To the state?
No, to the city.
Oh, to the city? Okay, so it was only 2,700?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is that?
Who sets the personnel and user fee?
Right here, the first one, top bottom.
347.015.
Oh, yeah, see that. Yes.
When Mary's talking.
All right. That did not go into any of my calculations that I was checking. It all balances out. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, okay. Moving on, Mr. Haynes is not here this evening. But we do have a meeting with the insurance on Friday morning at 10 a.m. So that'll be coming up, and so hopefully that goes swimmingly. But it's insurance, so who knows what may happen. And we had that meeting scheduled, and then we'll have it from here. So hopefully we'll have some kind of figure, so we tentatively, so when we do the budget, we already kind of have an idea what it's going to be. Right, Mary Ann.
I believe we've got an increase thrown in there already.
Yeah, so everybody increases.
What time is that meeting?
9 a.m. 9 a.m. And other than that, pretty much everything's just going as oils for its winter months, Christmas lights and all that fun stuff. I do know that percentage-wise, how many do you think the extra boats are you guys getting for storage?
Well,
Is it a sizable difference?
yeah, maybe 10%. I don't think it's as many as Brian thinks.
Okay.
Just looking at what's in the parking lot.
So we did have an increase.
Oh yeah, we picked up some that we didn't have before, but you lose a few too for one reason or another. We'll do an actual count here pretty soon and see where we are.
Cool.
Any more progress with the derelict boats?
Slow.
We're still working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you suggest, the volume of it, just off the top of your head?
Volume of,
The number of derelict boats? Just
oh, I think it's,
Less than 10.
yeah, it's less than
5, 20?
We're
Less
on
than
8,
10, maybe.
yeah.
That's not an unusual amount.
No. No.
Is it an annual thing that we address or not so much?
Yeah, well, it was for a while, and then we got rid of most of them, and then it became more of a biannual or,
Yeah.
as needed, and COVID messed all of that up.
Sure.
So now we've got a pile of them again.
Yeah.
Mr. Messina, over communication and special events.
I have nothing, no.
Mr. Mariner, master planning, special projects, and park related.
I have nothing for master planning and special projects, but I do have something for the meeting that I went to for Park Department. I'm going to read some stuff here that took place there. I went to that meeting, and it's very enlightening, and it can be, put it this way, it's going to be very difficult for the Park Department to determine what to do in this situation. As many people has probably already noticed, that the Millennial Park Plaza fountain has stopped working after 24 years of operation. The original construction caused many of the above ground and underground functions to break down. As a result of that, Park Department President Phil Freeze called for a joint workshop with the Michigan City Park Board, the Michigan City Common Council, the mayor, of course, Angie Nelson, and along with many people from the public. And that meeting was held directly after their park board meeting last Wednesday. That was when the meeting was held on October 16th, in the council chambers, of course. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss the Millennium Plaza Fountain Assessment Report, which can be found on our website, and then it has a long website here that anybody that wants it can go into it and see it. This meeting was brought up because of a few problems that I'm going to address here. I'm going to share some of the notes I took during this meeting. I'll give you a little background on the plaza and the foundation. The plaza was dedicated in 2000 to celebrate the millennium. It came under the jurisdiction of the Park Department on December 20th, 2004. I believe prior to that, it was under our jurisdiction. So for the first 4 years, it was under our jurisdiction. There are many conditions that have rendered the fountain in a state of disrepair at the present time. The fountain ceased working during the last stages of the 2022 season. After opening it for the 2023 season, it ceased working completely. On July 29th, 2024, Haas and Associates, who performed a alternative assessment which consisted of restoring the fountain to its original working order, or demolishing the fountain and replacing it with paver bricks that exist there actually today. The paver bricks, they were saying, probably wouldn't match up because of the age of the ones that are already there, but they tried to do the best they could because there's a lot of bricks in there that have been purchased by people and they have their names and stuff on them. So I don't know whether they would consider doing that again if this is the course they wanted to take. Where am I here? The alternative assessment, which consisted of restoring the fountain to its original working order, I just read that, didn't I? Or demolishing the fountain and replacing it with paver bricks. Either choice would put a heavy financial burden on the park department. The less costly of the two choices is to demolish the fountain and repave the area with paving bricks. This is a very sensitive and personal decision for many of the citizens of our community. The Park Department, the Michigan City Common Council, and some city residents voiced their opinions and a few alternatives for another type of fountain to replace the existing fountain, rather than replacing the open area with bricks once the fountain is demolished. The city will not have a working fountain during the 2025 season for sure. The meeting ended as the Park Department will explore some of the alternatives provided during the meeting. So that's an update on what's going on over there, and I thought it was important for us to talk. And I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but at least for us to know what's going on over there because it's so close to our wall there where we keep our boat and all that kind of stuff. And Vic has a lot of things going on there. Vic, of course, is a fellow who has the boat, the cruising boat, and he has a lot of things going on there. That big fountain takes up a huge, huge place. They even talked about maybe putting it in a corner somewhere, but that wouldn't work. One of the people that was there actually said they've done a tremendous amount of research on this and they're really in favor of not demolishing that fountain, whereas there were others there that were in favor of it. I mean, it went both ways. But one of the people suggested they move that fountain into a corner somewhere, in that plaza. First of all, it's probably too big to do that. Secondly, another person mentioned going over that bridge and seeing that beautiful fountain with the colors and all that lights and all that kind of stuff. It's an entrance to Washington Park. I mean, it's, and it's beautiful. So everybody had different opinions on that. So the Park Department is going to eventually get to this one way or another. Something's got to be done about it. And they're going to be investigating some of these suggestions that were made by some of the people. There are different ways to use different types of fountains that could replace this thing that wouldn't have all that underground wiring, and there's corrosion, and there's a lot of problems with that fountain. So that's my report as far as that's concerned, and I don't have any other report.
Thank you very much.
If anybody wants to have this email address here to look at all of this information, I can give it to you if that's what you want. Just let me know, and I've got it right here. So, okay? Alrighty.
All right, Mr. Cypress, advertising and public relations.
Nothing to report today.
Mr. Zachman, the attorney's report.
I've been working on a couple of projects that will be presented to the board probably at the next meeting or possibly the meeting thereafter. It involves some recalculation of rent, and then there's a new proposal from the city on the accounting MOU, and we haven't really reached a decision on that yet, but I'm gathering some information and doing some research, and probably will be able to report to the board on both of those items, like I said, either this next coming meeting or the meeting thereafter. I've been playing phone tag with Andy. He called me last week. I called him like an hour later, got his voicemail. I resent him the email again. I promise you I'll get an answer on it this week, certainly by the next meeting. All I think he has to do is just tell us if we can set up that promotions email address, or if he has to do it. I tend to think he has to do it. So I'll try to prod him along and get it.
Won't be here the next meeting, so don't stress yourself.
Okay. We'll get it done, I promise.
Very
And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. All right, no new business, old business, treasure hunt special event.
So tonight I'm looking for the board's approval to move forward with the letter to solicit the donations for the scavenger treasure hunt event for 2025. If I can get approval tonight, then I can start looking forward and getting my donations set up, which I've already worked with the park department to get quite a few. I've worked with a couple local businesses, so we got some coffee coming and things of that nature. And if the board decides that this is a venture that they no longer would be interested in, then I can take that also.
Just make a motion of what you want.
Make a motion to approve the letter.
I'll second the motion.
I have some questions on it, I'm not sure I can approve. Just some things I jotted down, and I'm sure others did too, but, and from what I understand, you're gonna have Mr. Frame or somebody walk around and put a decal or something at a certain place. And somebody finds it, they come in and tell the office, they get their name written down, time and date, location. Which I'm not against it at all, but, and that's fine. I thought, and that goes on for the full week.
It'll go on for the full month, so my plan was to have everyone who wants to participate, they find the item, put in their name and their phone number, first name only, phone number, put it into like a bag or a bowl or whatever. At the end of the month, the board will at a public meeting draw the name, and then we'll notify the person that they want it. I thought that maybe we could go month to month to month, but keep all of the slips that were turned in, and then at the end of the year have a big prize for the person who participated the most.
Okay, good. And I was looking at equality, I mean, we have a lot of people that come here for this summer. And they stay on the boat all summer, where we have others come down maybe just for the weekend, some that just come in and out, and they have the opportunity to, I guess, find this. How many times can one person win? Or put in a entry.
One per month. And
One
then there's
per month?
6 months that we'll do
So
it.
little Johnny finds it, he's gonna turn in his name and he's gonna tell Sister Sue, and then of course she's gonna put her name and Mom and Dad will too, but they can only put their name in once.
Once for kids and once for adults, correct, per month. So Johnny can put it in April, May he finds the next one, he can put it in for May, he finds the next one in June. So each month, there's gonna be a prize, one for adult, one for children.
That's all, pretty much covers everything that I had written down. I'm sure others have had some questions.
Anybody else?
Work in progress.
I think a month is an awful long time. I mean, to have it every 6 months, or to have it for the whole year, or whatever. If we're gonna do this, I think we should do it on a lot slower basis and see if people are interested in it. If they're not, there's no sense in continuing doing it.
Right, so we'll start it in April, we'll see what kind of response we get. Maybe go on to May, because May we got Memorial Day, there's more happening. And then if there's not a big turnout for April or May, then June we'll just put a stop.
I have nothing. So, but
Folks will either participate or they won't, and if there's not participation, then, we're done. And anything that I've gathered in donation-wise, we'll probably try to figure out another way to be able to hand that out to the voters.
I've listened to the presentations and what you passed out, and I just don't think this is something that I believe the Port Authority should be getting involved in. So my vote's gonna be no.
Okay. I can live with that.
So I guess we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Can we have a call out vote, please?
There you go.
Is that okay, President?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Manor?
I'm not in favor of it either.
Ken?
Aye.
Mr. Messina?
I vote yes.
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
No.
I think you get to vote. Does he get to
But
vote?
it's 3-2, right?
Yes.
So he does have to break a tie.
Okay. With 3 in favor and 2 against.
Passes by majority.
We'll give her a go.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I know she's put in a lot of time and effort putting all this stuff together, and I think it's a great thank you to you for doing that.
Thank you.
And we'll see how it goes.
Exactly. We'll see how it goes.
Sounds
How are we going to determine whether it's successful or not? Do you have parameters set up where you
Well, I think one thing would be is how many people show up and put their name on board.
well, I'm asking her, does she have parameters set up to determine the success of this thing?
If we get less than, we'll say, 20
Or
entries.
You're making it now.
Well,
Okay.
it was never brought to the table before to have parameters, so I could go as far as to say if we have less than 20 people interested per month, then yeah, we can squash it.
No problem.
Okay.
Mr. Cooper, thanks for coming today. And you have anything for us?
No,
All right, you sure?
I'm sure.
Last chance. Okay. All right, anybody else have anything else?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All right,
Second that motion.
you're adjourned.
There was one who asked about your electric vote.
Oh, yeah.